The work is a ballet for children and families. You know, I think it's important in classical music to get the young generation interested, you know, how they have the Peter and the Wolf and the Nutcracker. So I decided I want to write a piece that's very musically sophisticated, very hard, and you have an amazing orchestra with Maestro Messina doing an amazing job with this, but the thing is to have a fantasy ballet that has a nice story, music to choreograph it with, and to create something for families and children to go to the ballet and watch and hear. It was a co-thing. I was working on this concept, and Rui asked to premiere it here. So this is something I always wanted to do. Yeah, the first time it was premiered, they had it here with a dance company. You know, my music is very different. It's based on jazz, Brazilian, and pop rhythms. So traditional orchestras are very good at playing on the beat, da 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 da. But they're not very good at playing da 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 da, syncopation. And in my music, I try to use a lot of syncopation because we live in a world of rhythms. You know, the world has world music, pop, rock, jazz, things like that. But I find that Maestro Messina really understands this because he's young, he likes this type of music. So he really understands how to make the music happen. And the orchestra, since it's young, the rhythms are familiar to them, you know. So I think this orchestra could actually do a lot better job with this piece and music than, say, a larger, older, traditional orchestra. I think orchestra's going to change. You know, Charles Darwin once said, it's not the smartest or strongest that survive, it's those that can adapt. The world is changing, and if orchestras want to survive, they have to change. Art has to reflect time and culture. You know, as much as I love Mozart and things like that, this is from a culture that's 300 years old and 6,000 miles away. It's not my culture. So you have to ask the question, do orchestras want to become museums, or do they want to be reflective mirrors of the world we live in? Now let's just take rap music, for instance. It's not my music, but it reflects contemporary urban ghetto life. So it's a living art form. It's a folkloric art form, but it's alive. We need to do the same in orchestral music. We have to reflect our time and culture. Then it's relevant to the audience and they'll support it. So I believe for orchestras to survive, they have to change and become more open-minded. Otherwise, it's just a museum. It's giving us a glimpse into the past, into a certain period of culture. I write exclusively for myself. I write because I enjoy the act of writing. I enjoy music. I enjoy, you know, doing this. It's sort of like somebody who wants to paint. You paint for yourself. So I do this, and I hope other people will like it. I think that's the purest art form. An artist must have a singular vision and do what they feel in their soul and heart. It's not like a job where I punch a time clock and somebody says, you know, right, this is your job.
Oh, I see. You want to go to the other conspirator. Okay.
Some of the greatest works we have today, in their day, nobody played them. You know, Mahler, Charles Ives, people like this. Schoenberg never heard Moses and Aaron, his opera. So you never know. It's called time and culture. If an artist is lucky and society appreciates what he's doing in that time, then he does well. If not, maybe he does well after he dies. But you still have to be true to yourself and create what you feel and hope people will enjoy it. If not, you know, at least you tried. I think if you just want to please other people, then you're not an artist. You know, you're just trying to cater to somebody. I think it's important for the artist to have their own vision and be true to it, and then whatever happens, happens. Of course, we all want to be accepted in our time, but it's not really up to us. And also, there was a lot of composers back in their time that were very famous, and today you don't even know who they are. So, you know, this is more of politics than it is of art.
Those are a little loud.
It's a little story I wrote. It's about a young boy, and one day he's sleeping in his yard. This beautiful, magical Zephyrine appears. It's like a golden horse with a horn and wings, and it takes him to a magical place where people, they don't grow food, they have to build food in factories. And the princess is blue, her mother's green, her father's red, everybody's different colors, but they get along. and they have ice cream trees. And one day it gets very hot in the mountains, and the monster Ib, all the ice cream trees melt, so he's very upset, so he comes down to the city and he makes a mess and he steals the princess. And then the young boy Billy goes to the sapphire forest and he finds out from the fish that live in the trees the only way to make the monster go to sleep and not bother anybody is to give him a pumpkin. But in this land called Adora, they don't have pumpkins. And nobody knows how to build one. And Billy says to the king, I can go back to my farm on Earth and get a pumpkin, we grow them. And they think he's crazy. They say it's impossible to grow vegetables, we build them. Anyway, he sneaks off with the Zephyrtine, and he comes back and he finds a pumpkin, goes to the cave, throws it to the monster's mouth. The monster falls asleep and he rescues the princess. And they give him an award, and as a gift, they give him an ice cream tree. And he takes it back to his home and he shows it to his best friend Jerry.